Hello again, welcome back to my kitchen, and today we're going to be doing apple crumble with homemade custard. Now, the first thing we're going to want to do is prepare the apples. And I don't know whether you know, but if you peel an apple it will go brown and horrible. So there is a knack to stopping that from happening, which I'm going to show you now. In this pan I've got water, I filled it up with water, and I've also added 1 tablespoon of Jif lemon, 1 tablespoon of clear honey and a teaspoon of salt into there. Filled it up with water, give it a good stirring. Now the secret is to peel the apple while it's submerged, which I'm going to do now. Now I've got some that I've already prepared in this bowl here, which I'll show you in a minute. I just want to do this one for you. So make sure it's completely submerged and peel it while it's actually submerged, and this will stop it from going brown. You can do this as well for if you want to give your kids sliced apples in the lunch packs. It'll keep the apples from going brown, so they can have them for lunch the next day. It's a good little trick. So once you've peeled it, we're going to talk about removing the core. Now you don't need a corer, you don't need an apple corer. So that's peeled, make sure it's kept submerged, and then just get a knife and cut it in half, like that, and then in half again. So you cut it into quarters basically, like that. Now then, these I prepared earlier, so in this bowl again I've added 1 tablespoon of lemon, Jif lemon, 1 tablespoon of honey and a teaspoon of salt into there, filled it up with water, and then as I've done my apples I put them straight into there, and I've got a cover which is like a cloth over the top of it to keep them submerged so they don't float up. So I'm going to put these ones in. Into there, and as you can see, all these apples that are in here, they've not gone brown. They've been in there for about 15 minutes or so, and they're perfect. So I'm going to leave them covered and submerged for a little bit whilst we sort the crumble out. So that'll be the next day to make the crumble. So to make the crumble, you want the 100 grams put into one side because that's for cooking the apples. You want the 50 grams of demerara sugar, the 100 grams of cubed butter, and the 200 grams of sieved flour, what you run for a sieve. So we're going to drop the butter into the flour mixing bowl, along with the demerara sugar, sprinkle that in. And what you need to do is to very gently rub that all together with your hands until you get a brown crumbly texture, and there's no lumps of butter left. It's all gone, and all you get is a nice crumbly texture. So spend a good bit of time running this through your fingers until you get a nice brown crumbly texture like that. Okay, and then once you've done that, put this to one side, and then we'll start cooking the apples. Preheating the oven. We also need to start on making the custard as well. So it's a bit to do yet. Just get in there. That's nice and crumbly now. I like that texture. That's just right. That's going to make a nice crumble. Okay. So next thing we'll do is to cook the apples. While that's in the oven, we'll make the custard. So before we can start cooking the apples, we need to get them prepared. So we'll put the crumbs to one side. And these are the apples that we prepared earlier on. We just need to core them, get rid of the core. Like I said to you, you don't actually need an apple corer. All you need is a knife. So what we shall do is we'll get a pan. That I'll be using to cook the apples in. Put that there. So now these have been soaking in this mixture for quite a while, we can take this off now because they're not going to go brown now, we'll be fine. So I'll take that off, get rid of it. And all you need to do is the apples that you cut into quarters, you just cut the core straight down there, just like that. Just like that, so you cut the core out, and then all you need to do is to cut your quarters in half. Okay, so we'll get that done. Okay, so that's what we've got now. We've cored all our apples, we just cut the core off in the centre, chopped the quarters in half, so we've got chunks of apples. What we do now is we add the 100 grams of granulated sugar, and we get the lemon and we drop in a little bit of the zest, which we just peel the skin like that. And all you do then is you pop the lid on, put it on a medium heat and let them cook for about 5 minutes. Okay. Okay, so that's ready for putting on the cooker now. So the next step is to put the lid on, bung it on a medium heat, let it cook for 5 minutes and then move on to the next stage. Okay, so they are now in the pan. I'm going to shake it around to get this sugar well and truly mixed in. And now we will leave them to cook for 5 minutes. And while that's happening, we're going to preheat the oven. Just keep popping in, giving them a shake so they all get mixed in really well. What you want to be able to do is to get them nice and soft so that you'll be able to mash them. You don't want to mash them too much, but just mash them a little bit. So just keep tossing them as they cook. We've got about a minute left. The sugar's starting to boil now. And what I've done is I've cut one of the lemons that we took the zest off. I'm just going to squeeze the juice. Get as much of that juice out as you can. Give it another shake. Put the lid back on. It's got about a minute left now, and then we'll be able to see if it's soft enough to mash. Okay, so the time's up now, so I'm going to take that off the heat. We're going to sieve the apples, put the apples through a sieve. Okay, so they have now been sieved off. They're cooked nicely. All you need to do is get a masher and just, don't go mad, just gently mash them a little bit. I've got a Pyrex dish here, so I'm going to scrape the apples into the Pyrex dish. I've got my oven set to 200. If you do it on a fan, then it's going to be 180. Okay, so scrape your apples into your Pyrex dish, even them out. Okay, so that's all the apples added to the dish. Next thing we're going to do is to cover that now with the crumble that we made, which we are now going to do. And just get your crumble and just sprinkle it over. So you get a nice even layer. Plenty of crumble. I don't have loads of crumble there. I really like the crumble on apple crumbles. Really nice. So that is now ready to go into the oven. So once the oven's at temperature, we'll pop that into the oven, and while it's in the oven we'll start making the custard. Okay, so my main oven is now at temperature. I've got everything ready, I've got all the ingredients to the custard ready to go. We'll now pop this into the oven. I'm going to put it into the top oven, which is set to 200. If you're using fan, then it's going to be 180. So we'll pop that in the top oven, and it's going to cook for about 25 to 30 minutes. So make sure you keep your eye on that. So we'll set the clock to start with for 25 minutes. And that is the crumble on the way. Now for the custard, I've got 300 grams of milk, two eggs, some vanilla extract, some custard sugar and some corn flour. So we shall now start making the custard. So to make the custard, I've poured the 300 millilitres of full fat milk into the pan. I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and we're going to turn that pan on a low heat, and we want to heat it up, but we don't want it to boil. Just before it boils, turn it off. Okay, so let's get that on. In the meantime, in this dish I've put my 2 eggs in there. I've put 1 teaspoon of custard sugar and 2 teaspoons of corn flour. So we're going to mix that up into a paste. It's going to be a bit messy, but you also need to make sure you keep stirring this milk. You do not want this milk to boil. Okay. Let's get this mixed up into a paste. So I've transferred everything I've transferred these mixture into a mixing bowl. I'm going to mix that now and then gradually add the warm milk into it whilst whisking it all the time. Add a little bit at a time. So first of all, let's give this a final mixing up in here. Get the lumps of corn flour out of there. I don't want any lumps of corn flour. And now I'm going to start adding the warm milk gradually, bit at a time, and keep whisking it. Okay, so once you've got that whisked up, what you need to do is put that back into the pan, put it back on the heat, gently heat it up for about another 20 minutes or so, let it thicken. So that's the next stage. So pour that into there. Turn it onto the medium heat. For about 20 minutes, let it thicken, keep stirring it as you go along. Okay, now I'm going to get tidied up and get ready for dishing out. Okay, so that crumble is just about ready. Just going to put the custard back on again. What I want to do is just give it a bit of a whisk using this just to get rid of any lumps that might be in there. Turn that off. So just put it on number 1. That's just to get rid of any lumps that might be in there. That can now go off. We shall now take out the apple crumble, and we shall dish out and really enjoy it. And that is my apple crumble with homemade custard. I hope you liked the video. If you did, please click on subscribe and like if you like the video. Watch out for the next video, which will be coming out soon, which will be chicken Kievs with leeks and butter and cream sauce, which is really nice. So watch out for that, and thanks for watching. I'll see you again.